to another live stream. It'll be a college basketball live stream tonight. Ohio State and Michigan. Of course, the big rivalry. Of course, we know how big this rivalry is on the football field. Not nearly the same hype in basketball, but still two big rivals, Ohio State and Michigan. Preview this game momentarily. First of all, let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for doing your will upon us, Lord, and please look over all these players tonight. Please keep everyone safe, players, trainers, coaching staff, fans. Please keep everyone safe, and please continue to look over us as we do ask us in your name. Amen. All right, Buckeyes and Wolverines coming in. Buckeyes coming in at 13-5 on the year. They are 5-3 in Big Ten play. They are winners of 5 of their last 7. This is an Ohio State team that scores just shy of 84 points a game. This is the first of 2 meetings between these teams this year. They will meet 2 weeks from Sunday in Columbus on the return matchup. Ohio State is led by Bruce Thornton. He averages 20.7 points a game. The Buckeyes average 4 players in double figures, and as I said, a team that averages just over 83 points a game. So this is a team that can score. Now, as I said, winners of 5 of their last 7. Meanwhile, Michigan has won their last 3 after falling for the first time on the season 2 Saturdays ago against Wisconsin. Michigan on the season is led by 4 double-digit scorers. Yaxel Lendeborg leading the way for Michigan. He averages a little over 14 a game. Moriz Johnson Jr. averages just shy of 14 a game and 2 10-point-a-game scores. Ade Mara and Elliot Kadu. So this Michigan team, a high-scoring team, they average 92.7 points a game, so 10 points average more than the Buckeyes do. But we will see the first of 2 meetings, as I said, between the Buckeyes and the Wolverines, 2 teams on runs. Michigan coming in 17-1 overall. They are 7-1 in the Big Ten. Winners of 3 in a row after losing to Wisconsin 2 weeks ago. On a Friday night in Ann Arbor, Michigan. About to be a winter wonderland snowmageddon here in the Midwest this weekend. So we had one other top 25 matchup in college basketball today. It just ended about 30 minutes or so ago. Number 24, St. Louis, just absolutely destroyed St. Bonaventure on the road tonight. 97-62, that final score. So the Billikens, who got into the top 25 this week, get the 35-point road win over St. Bonaventure to continue their hot season. And Michigan looks to move to 18-1 on the year and run their Big Ten record to 8-1. As the Buckeyes and Wolverines renew their long rivalry. From the Chrysler Center in Ann Arbor tonight. Here's take a look at the starting lineups for both of these teams. We will start with the Buckeyes of Ohio State. It'll be Bynum and Royal in the front court. Christoph Tilley is in the center position for Ohio State. John Mobley Jr. and Bruce Thornton, the 2 guards. For Michigan, Merez Johnson and Yaxel Lindeborg up front. Ade Mara in the middle. Elliot Cadeau and Namari Burnett in the backcourt for the Wolverines. Led by head coach Dusty May, has the Wolverines ranked number 3 this week in the AP poll. Ohio State coached by Jake Diebler. Diebler in year 3 at Ohio State. Trying to get the Buckeyes to the NCAA tournament for the first time in his tenure as head coach. Dusty May, 44 wins so far in his 1+ seasons at Michigan. This is second season. As we are set to go in Ann Arbor. And we are underway. The Wolverines control the opening tip. Doug Simmons, DJ Carsonson, Keith Kimball, the officials, and right away, Mara with the basket for Michigan, and it's 2-0 out of the gate. Ohio State's first possession. On a ruckus crowd on a Friday night in Ann Arbor, this is Tilley on the outside, gives it over to Mobley. Mobley, the runner, scores, and that will tie this game at 2. 35 seconds into. And Michigan throws it out of bounds on the next possession, and the ball will go back to Ohio State. Again, 2 teams that can score. Minute in. Tilley now for Ohio State. And he will bounce it to nobody, and that ball will go out of bounds. Teams trade turnovers on their second possessions. Wolverines bring it up the floor. Cadeau, this is in a 3-pointer in the corner that is good for Namari Burnett. And Michigan leads at 5-2. Mobley brings it up the floor for the Buckeyes. Mobley still dribbling, now driving inside, gives it off to Tilley. Tilley goes up and gets fouled. Cannot get the basket to go, but he will go to the free throw line. First foul of the game. This one's on Merez Johnson Jr. And Christoph Tilley heads to the free throw line for Ohio State. Senior out of Berlin, Germany. First of 2 free throws up and good. One more coming. Tilley averages 12 points a game on the season as he hits 2 free throws. And it makes it a 5-4 lead for the Wolverines. Up the floor comes Michigan. It's Lindeborg. Off it goes to Johnson Jr. And inside the layup is no good. That was a little bit of a bad angle. And then Michigan out of bounds on the rebound. It's going to go to Ohio State. Rebound went into the hands of Ade Mara, but he was standing out of bounds. And Michigan, slight press here, but quickly backed off. As again, Mobley brings it up the floor for the Buckeyes. Now dribbling on the Michigan M. Mobley gives it off to Devin Royal. This is Thornton now. Gives it off. And now a drive inside is blocked. Rejection by Mara of Michigan, and the Wolverines come out with it. Lendeborg on the drive, and he gets fouled on the way up, and Lendeborg will head to the line for two. Foul is charged to Amari Bynum of Ohio State. That'll be his first. Yaxel Lendeborg, senior, a transfer out of UAB. First of two, up and good. Lendeborg had 15 points on Tuesday in Michigan's win over Indiana. Second on the way is good. 7-4 lead for Michigan, 2.5 minutes in. And we have our first substitution of the game. Up the floor is Thornton for the Buckeyes. Thornton off to Royal. Well, now on the outside is Bynum. Bynum looking for help, gives it off to Thornton. 10 on the shot clock for Ohio State. Now Mobley with it on the outside. Mobley will try a three-pointer. That's way off. Rebound to Michigan. Lendeborg, and there's another turnover. Namari Burnett wasn't looking for that pass, and Michigan turns it over for the second time. Inbounds it comes to Mobley, who will bring it up the floor for Ohio State. Now Royal, back out to Mobley. Finds now Tilley. Tilley gets inside and banks it in off the glass. Christoph Tilley has 4 for Ohio State, and it's a 1-point lead for Michigan at 7-6. First substitution into the game for Ohio State. Amari Bynum's going to get a little bit of a breather here. Up the floor comes Roddy Gale Jr. for Michigan. Pass inside here. And Michigan turns it. Oh, no, they don't. That's going to be called for a foul on Tilley. He thought he had all ball, and Ohio State had a steal there had they not called the foul, but they do get the foul on Tilley. That's his first. Michigan inbounds to Lendeborg. Lendeborg back outside and now passes off. This is Burnett now. Lendeborg in the corner for 3. That's off the back rim. No. Rebound Ohio State. Bruce Thornton, and he'll bring it up the floor for the Buckeyes. Tilley now on the outside. And back inside to Tilley, who's rejected. Second block for Michigan. And at the other end, the left shot goes down. Lendeborg's first field goal, he's got 4. He averages 14.2 a game, leading scorer for Michigan on the season. 9-6 lead for the Wolverines. Here's Tilley. And we have a moving screen. This is going to go on Ohio State. And that brings us to our first timeout. 9-6 lead for Michigan. 15:43 to play opening half. So Ohio State starting out 2 of 5 from the floor. Michigan 3 for 5. So we're at our first time out. Of course, Friday is usually a light slate in college basketball. Let's take a look at some of the featured games tomorrow. Undefeated and number 7 Nebraska will be up at Williams Arena to take on Minnesota. That is a tough place to play, so that is not going to be an easy game for Nebraska as they look to stay unbeaten on the season. We got 3 ranked versus ranked matchups tomorrow. First one is at noon Eastern time out in Charlottesville, Virginia. Number 14, Virginia, is playing host to number 22, North Carolina. North Carolina has hit a little bit of a funk here in the last couple weeks. So that is the first ranked versus ranked matchup. The second one of probably the featured game of the day tomorrow, a top 12 matchup in Lubbock. Number 12, Texas Tech, plays host to number 6, Houston. And then the other ranked versus ranked matchup is in the Big Ten, a top 11 matchup. Number 4, Purdue, hosting number 11, Illinois. Purdue coming off a loss to UCLA this week. So they want to try and bounce back as they will host Illinois tomorrow at Mackey Arena. That game at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Bill Self expected to return for Kansas tomorrow as they're in Manhattan to take on Kansas State. So some good matchups on the schedule tomorrow. Looking at some other Big Ten matchups on the slate. By the way, we had a Big Ten game earlier today in Indiana, an 82-59 winner at Rutgers. So Indiana getting back on track there with that win in Piscataway over Rutgers. In the Big Ten tomorrow, number 10, Michigan State hosting Maryland. Told you about Illinois, Purdue, and Nebraska, Minnesota. And also tomorrow in the Big Ten, Northwestern makes the trip out west to take on UCLA. So those are some of the matchups on tap for tomorrow in college basketball. And here we have an early 9-6 lead for Michigan over Ohio State. Just underway in this one. 4:17 into this first half. And just about set to resume out of the timeout. And I erred right there before the timeout. I thought I had saw a moving screen signaled by the official, but it was actually a foul on Elliot Cadeau of Michigan. So that's my mistake there. Turnaround shot is way off by Devin Royal. Good defense underneath by Michigan, and the Wolverines pull down the rebound. LJ Kaysen into the first time for Michigan here at after the timeout. And Ohio State comes out with the ball. That's going to be Michigan's third turnover, and a layup is good. Colin White off the bench with his first 2 points, and it's a 9-8 lead for Michigan. 5 minutes into this first half. Bounce pass. Here's Johnson Jr. With it now is Roddy Gale, and here's a deep three. That's no good. And an easy rebound pulled down by Jegovan for Ohio State. Thornton pressured, and too much pressure there for Michigan. We're going to get a foul. Going to get Lendeborg with his first. Third Michigan team foul the first half. Ohio State will bring it in. Dribbling across midcourt. Now a double team, and it forces a turnover. Good defense for Michigan, but then we're going to have a double dribble. Michigan got the steal, but then they give it right back on the violation. Michigan has 4 turnovers. Lendeborg himself is personally responsible for 3 of them. And it'll be Ohio State ball at quarter court as Mobley will inbound. Here's Mobley with it now. He'll drive inside and score with the right hand, and the Buckeyes have their first lead at 10-9. Officials stop play after that Mobley basket. Oh, that looks like Mobley reached in and knocked the ball away after he scored. That's going to be a technical foul on Mobley. They got him for reaching in after Michigan was going out to inbound, and the free throw's no good. And Mobley reached in and knocked the ball away, and they teed him up. Tilley returns to the lineup for Ohio State, as does Amari Bynum. So Michigan to inbound. Gabe Cupps also in for the first time for Ohio State. Outside with it here is Lindeborg for Michigan. Going inside. Back to Lindeborg. Lindeborg with the pull-up, and it's good. He's got a half dozen for Michigan, and the Wolverines are back in front, 11-10. Thornton with it for Ohio State. Bounce pass into Royal. Royal gives it off to Tilley. Tilley on the outside looking for help, gets it to Thornton, and he's pushed. Be the fourth team foul on Michigan. First foul on Kaysen. Inbound to Ohio State. This is Thornton. Thornton sends it outside. And now a three-pointer is an air ball. And off Michigan, however, it will stay with Ohio State. But since it was an air ball, the shot clock did not reset. So the Buckeyes will inbound with 6 on the shot clock. Buckeyes to inbound from under the basket. Get it into Tilley. Down to 3 to shoot. Tilley going inside, and Michigan takes it away. Third turnover against Ohio State. Lindeborg with it on the outside. And now driving inside. Nice pass underneath, but unable to handle the pass. And another turnover for Michigan. That's their 5th. Where that pass went right inside to Merez Johnson Jr., but he couldn't handle it. And Ohio State came out with it. Tilley. Tilley now will drive inside, stop, turn around in the paint, and put it in with the right hand. Christoph Tilley with 6. And Ohio State's back in front, 12-11. Here's a 3 at the other end for Michigan. That's too strong. Wolverines will keep it alive. Lindeborg now going inside here to Johnson. Merez Johnson Jr. draws a double team, but still able to put it up and in. Ohio State bench wanted to travel. Michigan leads 13-12. Thornton for the Buckeyes. Thornton on the drive with the right hand. He will score. That's his first 2 points of the game. Back and forth we go. 14-13 Ohio State. And a spin, the reverse layup, no good. Rebound to Tilley as the pace has really quickened here. Tilley will bring it up the floor for the Buckeyes. Off to Thornton, left side. Thornton on the drive. Thornton pulls up from just inside the foul line, too strong. And we have a tie-up on the rebound, and the possession arrow will keep it with Ohio State, and that will take us to a timeout. Long-time rivalry between the Buckeyes and Wolverines in Ann Arbor tonight. Buckeyes lead it by 1, 14-13. So these last few possessions, the pace has really picked up. Buckeyes shooting 50%, 6 of 12 from the floor. Michigan also 50%, 5 of 10 from the floor. But Michigan's turned it over 5 times already. Ohio State's turned it over 3. Christoph Tilley leading the way here for Ohio State with 6 points, leading the way for Michigan also with 6 points. Yaxel Lendeborg. We are, and this is absolutely incredible for me to say, we're going to start hearing a little bit of talk about bubble and all that stuff because, incredibly, we are only 7 weeks away from Selection Sunday in college basketball. That I can't even believe I'm saying that. Just 7 weeks from this Sunday will be Selection Sunday for the 68-team NCAA tournament field. We're talking about Nebraska trying to stay unbeaten tomorrow. We currently still have 3 unbeaten teams in college basketball. Number 7, Nebraska. Number 1, Arizona. And Arizona was a unanimous number 1 in the AP poll this week. And I forgot to mention Arizona. They're in action tomorrow trying to stay unbeaten at home against West Virginia. And the other undefeated team in the country is the 25th ranked Miami of Ohio Redhawks. They don't play again until Tuesday when they will host UMass at home. Miami of Ohio went to 20-0 as they won a hard-fought overtime battle at Kent State this past Tuesday. So Arizona, Nebraska, and Miami of Ohio, the last 3 undefeateds in men's college basketball. And here we have a 1-loss Michigan team, ranked number 3, currently trailing by 1, and Ohio State to inbound out of the timeout. In the corner, here's a 3-point shot that's too strong, rebounded by Michigan. Ohio State now 0 for 3 from 3-point range. Trey McKinney has it on the outside. Lendeborg, top of the key 3-pointer. That is short. Offensive rebound for the Wolverines. And then we have a takedown and a foul on Ohio State. Going to get Bruce Thornton with the foul as he took down Shetter as Shetter got the offensive rebound. That's Thornton's first foul, team's third. And the Wolverines will inbound. Godot to inbound from under the basket for Michigan. Still looking to get it in and finally does. Oh, nice pass inside and a foul. That foul did prevent an easy layup as Trey McKinney will have to earn his 2 points at the free throw line. That foul goes on Colin White, it looks like. That'll be his first. Trey McKinney, the freshman out of Flint, Michigan, heading to the free throw line for 2. First is up and rolled out. No good. McKinney averaging just shy of 10 points a game this year, 9.8. One more free throw coming, this one to tie it. And good. Game tied at 14 apiece with 11 minutes remaining in the opening half from Ann Arbor. Buckeyes bringing up the floor. It's Mobley. Bounce pass outside to White. And now the drive inside for Thornton. Pulls up just inside the foul line. That's no good, but the Buckeyes keep it alive on an offensive rebound, and a top of the key three is good. That is the first three of the game for the Buckeyes as John Mobley Jr. hits it from the outside, and Ohio State leads 17-14. At the other end, a nice pass there, and the Michigan turns it over. It was a good pass inside to Shetter, but he couldn't handle it, and the ball goes out of bounds. And that is Michigan's sixth turnover of the first half. Tilley returning for Ohio State into the lineup. Mobley with the ball for the Buckeyes. Off to White. Colin White looking for help. Gets it out to Tilley. Back over to Mobley. Shot clock at 7. Mobley finds White in the corner. Now White drives inside. Tries the lob, and it's blocked out of bounds. Buckeyes will get it, but 2 seconds on the shot clock. Mara with that block for Michigan. Boy, good swat there for Mara. Third block of the half for Michigan. Buckeyes will inbound with 2 on the shot clock. And they get it in, and they're going to have to put this up, and they don't get it off. Shot clock violation. Or wait a minute. Are they saying that counts? They're saying that counts for Mobley. They're going to look at that at the time. I didn't think he had a chance to get that off. That seemed like an awful long 2 seconds. At the other end, a 3 for Michigan is no good. Shetter, the rebound, offensive, and he's fouled. And Shetter a little fired up there after that foul. By gosh, Mobley did get that off. They just showed the replay. That looked like a very long 2 seconds. But Michigan to inbound under the basket. Down a half dozen. Driving inside now in the paint. Shot will rattle in for Trey McKinney. His first field goal. He's got 3 points, and it's a 20-16 lead for Ohio State. And that pass is deflected into the hands of Thornton. Buckeyes will reset here. And now a 3-point shot on the way. Tried to bank it in, but it's no good. Rebound by McKinney of Michigan. And now a top of the key 3 at the other end. That's no good. Rebound pulled down by Thornton. Teams now just a combined 3 for 14 from 3-point range. Open 3 for Thornton is no good. Make it 3 for 15 combined from 3-point range. And now Michigan going to slow the pace up a little bit. Outside to Shetter. Shetter is bumped, and that's going to go against Tilley. That'll be his second. Team foul number 6. Jagovan comes right back in for Ohio State, replacing Tilley, who has to go out with the 2 fouls. Cadeau to inbound under the basket for Michigan. Michigan will be shooting free throws now for each Ohio State foul the rest of the half. Mara with it. And now a 3-point shot. That's an off-balance 3. That's no good. That was not a real set shot there. Rebound to Ohio State. Here's Thornton. With it now is Tayson Chapman. Goes inside to Royal. Royal looking to back his way in, sends it back out to Chapman. Chapman to the left of the free throw line. Jumper is short. Rebound pulled down by Michigan. Buckeyes down to 40% shooting. Burnett on the drive, put it down on the floor, but got bailed out with a foul. And that'll be the 7th team foul in Ohio State, and it will send Michigan to the free throw line. Jegovan got called for that foul. 7:54 remaining opening half from Ann Arbor. Ohio State on the road, leading third-ranked Michigan 20-16. So despite shooting just 40% and just 2 for 7 from three-point range, the Buckeyes have the lead because Michigan's not shooting any better. They're also shooting 40%. They're 1 of 8 from three-point range. And Michigan's also turned it over 6 times in this first half to Ohio State's 3. So these two teams are nowhere near their points per game pace right now, as Michigan averages a little over 93. They've been held to 16 the first 12 minutes of this first half. Ohio State, who averages 83 a game, they're at 20. The defenses have been very good tonight, so you can credit the defenses for a lot of this so far. Michigan will be at the free throw line when play resumes here out of the under 8 timeout. I'm going to be on the live stream tomorrow for at least 2 college basketball games tomorrow. Don't know what they're going to be yet. It's going to depend on my work schedule because I do have a full-time job, so I do have to work tomorrow. So it'll be depending on when I get done there and all that as to what the games are going to be. For sure going to have one in the evening, early evening in the primetime slot. And then possibly, I'd like to be able to do that Houston, Texas Tech game. It's at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do that one or not. We'll see. And plus with the impending Snowmageddon that's coming in on the Midwest, here in the Midwest this weekend. Not just here in the Midwest, about half the country looking at that map. Because of that, a lot of game schedules have been altered this weekend too. A lot of game times getting moved up. A lot of them postponed indefinitely to next week or even later than that. With this impending winter storm that is going to blanket half the country, it looks like. But I will be on for a couple college basketball live streams tomorrow. I'll try to keep the page updated tomorrow. I know I haven't been doing a real good job of that, and I apologize. So just about set to resume here. Michigan will be at the free throw line, trailing by 4. Off of Michigan's 6 turnovers tonight, Ohio State scored 11 points off of those turnovers. Ohio State's 7 team fouls here in the first half. Michigan's been whistled for 4. Amari Burnett at the line. First of 2 is way short. That barely drew iron. Amari Burnett, a senior out of Chicago, has 1 more free throw. Michigan going with the old school uniforms tonight as Burnett hits the second. Those were the kind of uniform with the big M. And then, well, Michigan rode across and with the big M there. Those were the uniforms back in the Fab 5 days. 20-17 lead for Ohio State. Here's Royal with the shot up and in. That's the first basket of the game for Royal, his first 2 points. And it's 22-17. Corner three is good. The second three of the half for Michigan. This one for Lindeborg. He's got 9. And the Buckeye lead is 2 at 22-20. Gabe Cupps brings it up the floor this time for the Buckeyes. Cupps trying to drive. Cannot. Good defense here. Gives it off to Genovan. Back over to Cupps. Now Mobley. Mobley on the drive and puts it in with the right-hand floater. He's got a dozen in this first half for Ohio State, and the Buckeye lead is 4 at 24-20. Alley-oop tried to be an alley-oop, but it's knocked away and stolen by the Buckeyes. Cupps brings it up the floor for Ohio State. And now a deep three on the way is around and out. That was shot from the beginning of the Michigan M logo at midcourt. Lindeborg misses a 3. And we have a foul on Michigan on the rebound. That'll be number 2 on Elliot Cadeau. And team foul number 5 on the Wolverines. Michigan shooting 41%, 7 of 17. Buckeyes at 43%, 10 of 23. Thornton brings it up the floor for Ohio State as we're down to 6:20 here in the first half. Off to Mobley. Mobley's had a good first half. Jegovan with it. Bounce pass over to Thornton. Thornton pins it back out, and a top of the key three-pointers off the rim. No. Rebound Michigan, and they have a fast break here. 3-on-1, alley-oop, and the finish. Great feed from Lindeborg, and the alley-oop pass to Roddy Gale Jr. 24-22 Buckeyes. That got the crowd back to life. Here's Thornton. Thornton covered well, and they're going to get a foul. I thought they were going to get Thornton for a backcourt violation, but they're going to get Mara with the foul. That's team foul number 6, so Ohio State will be at the line now for the rest of the half for each Michigan foul here on out. Thornton with the ball for the Buckeyes. And the jumper from the foul line is up and good for Mobley. That's 14 in the half for John Mobley. It's 26-22. Buckeyes up 4. Johnson Jr. with the right hand. He'll score. Morez Johnson Jr. with the right hand layup. His second field goal. And it's 26-24 as we near 5 minutes to play in the first half. Thornton on the outside here for the Buckeyes. Thornton, he'll pull up and miss it. Rebound pulled down by Michigan. Thornton now just 1 of 5 from the floor here in the first half. And we have a foul on Ohio State. This one's going to go against Puff Johnson. That'll be his first. So the Buckeyes, Jake Diebler has gone deep into the bench. He's played 10 players here in this first half. Michigan themselves have played 9, so both teams going pretty deep into their bench here. Michigan heading to the line. It's LJ Kaysen. First of a 1-and-1 is no good. Michigan now just 4 for 8 from the line here in the first half. It stays 26-24. Thornton dribbling on the M at midcourt. Thornton now driving. Thornton gets free for a moment, gives it off to Tilley. Tilley from the top of the key for three. That is no good. Buckeyes now 2 of 11 from three-point range. Wolverines back the other way. Here's a bounce pass inside to Mara. Mara with a bad pass, and the Buckeyes get the steal. Another Michigan turnover. They're 8th of the half. Mobley gets cut off. Now we'll back it back out and try and reset as we hit 4 minutes to play in the first half. Mobley on the drive. Mobley, nice pass. And the turnaround by Tilley is too strong with the right hand. Rebound pulled down by Michigan. Wolverines looking to tie, and they do tie it on the shot inside the paint for L.J. Kaysen. And this game is tied at 26. A lot lower scoring game than what we anticipated. Mobley, he loses it. Buckeyes turn it over for the fourth time. Wolverines look to regain the lead. There's another alley-oop underneath. And the Michigan Wolverines do retake the lead as Morez Johnson Jr. puts it in. Thornton brings it up for the Buckeyes. And now Tilley driving. Rejected! Ade Mara with a block underneath. That's his third block of the first half. And with just under 3 minutes to play in this first half, Michigan's taken the lead back 28-26 over Ohio State. Good first half between these two rivals. Ohio State's dropped under 40% shooting now, 11 of 29, 38%. They're just 2 of 11 from three-point range at 18%. Michigan's put themselves over 50% shooting now, 11 of 21 for 52%. They're just 2 of 10, however, from three-point range at 20%. So take away the three-point shots, Michigan is 9 of 11 from two-point range in this game. Just 4 for 8 at the free throw line, though. They haven't helped themselves there in the first half, 50%. Rebound edge to Michigan, 16-12. However, it's the turnovers, 8 for Michigan in the first half. Buckeyes have turned it over just 4 times. Michigan's led in this first half by Axel Lendeborg's 9 points. 6 points out of Morez Johnson Jr., 4 out of Namari Burnett, 3 points off the bench from Trey McKinney, 2 apiece from Ade Mara, L.J. Kaysen, and Roddy Gale Jr. For the scoring, Ohio State's had a big first half from John Mobley Jr., 14 points. 6 points out of Christoph Tilley, 2 apiece from Devin Royal, Bruce Thornton, and Colin White. Bruce Thornton's had a very quiet first half here for Ohio State, but Mobley has stepped up. Mobley's almost at his season average here in the first half. He's got 14 points. His season average is 15.3. So with Michigan leading by 4, 2:55 remaining here in the first half. As we are just about set to resume out of the timeout, the under 4 timeout. Mentioned earlier the other top 25 team in action tonight, number 24, St. Louis. They throttled St. Bonaventure 97-62. That is now 13 wins in a row for the Billikens. Could see that. There came in this week, number 24 in the AP poll. You could see them move into the top 20 when the new poll comes out on Monday. Their only loss on the season for St. Louis, a 1-point loss to Stanford, which occurred in a tournament over Thanksgiving weekend. Off the inbound, Buckeyes almost turn it over on the inbound. They're able to save it. Now they do turn it over. As somebody on Michigan got a hand in, it's a 2-on-1 break, but a missed layup. Michigan had a 2-on-1 break, but blew the layup. And back come the Buckeyes. And a three-pointer for the lead is short. Three-point shooting continues to struggle in the first half for Ohio State. Thornton, the floater, gets it to go. Thornton's second field goal. He's got 4, and that'll tie the game at 28. Lendeborg with it for Michigan. Mara inside. Nice feed. Nice feed from Mara inside to Johnson, and he finishes with the layup. 30-28 Michigan. As we have reached 2 minutes to play in the first half. Thornton with the ball for the Buckeyes. Gives it off to Tilley. Tilley on the outside. Tilley looking for help. Gives it to Mobley. Mobley's had the hot hand here in the first half for Ohio State. Almost lost the dribble there. Thornton will miss a 3. Thornton gets his own rebound and will bounce it inside. Nice pass inside to Devin Royal, and he'll finish with the layup. Thornton got kind of hung up in the air, but was able to find his man underneath and Royal to tie the game at 30. Ohio State takes a timeout here. They're going to use their use it or lose it first half timeout. As we are tied at 30 with just over a minute and a half remaining in the opening half of play. Former Michigan coach John Beilein taking this one in tonight at the Chrysler Center. So with 1:35 remaining in the first half, it'll be Michigan ball off the Ohio State 30-second timeout. Michigan still has yet to use their use it or lose it first half timeout. As the Wolverines bring it up the floor. Pass goes inside. Mara, that shot was altered. It wasn't really blocked, but it was altered by Ohio State, which made Mara make that a tougher shot than he thought it was. Here's Mobley. And we have got an offensive foul, it looks like, on Ohio State. It's like they're going to get Bruce Thornton with his second. And new Michigan football coach Kyle Whittingham in the stands taking this one in as well. Whittingham coming over from Utah to lead the Michigan football team starting next season. Final minute, first half. Kaysen on the outside for Michigan. Now with it is McKinney. Shot clock at 5. Michigan's going to have to put a shot off, and the shot is blocked. They're going to get a foul. That's going to be on Bynum. That'll be his second. He is the third Buckeye now with 2 fouls. And with 47.9 to go in the first half. That's the 10th team foul, so 2 shots here. That was a shooting foul anyway. as Ade Mara, 7'3" junior out of Spain, heading to the free throw line. First is good. Mara transfer to Michigan from UCLA. Averaging just shy of 11 points a game. He missed the second free throw, but an offensive rebound for Michigan, and they'll kick it back out to save a possession. And a layup is no good, and it looks like they're going to get a goaltend, it looks like. So credit that basket for LJ Kaysen. So Kaysen now with 4. Michigan leads by 3 with exactly 40 seconds flat to go in the first half. Here come the Buckeyes as Thornton brings it up the floor. 10-second difference, shot clock to game clock. Thornton with it on the Michigan M. Now draws a double team, able to get it off, but stepping into the passing lane and getting a steal is Michigan. And shot clock is off. They can run this down for the final shot. And they will, as we're down to 10 seconds. Dusty May will now use his first half timeout with 10.1 remaining in the first half. So 10.1 seconds remaining in the first half. Michigan will have the final possession of the first half. Michigan inbound here from quarter court, throwing it into the backcourt, down to 5 seconds. Here's an open three-point shot that is long, and Michigan gets the rebound. That shot's going to count. If it goes, it does not, and that is how the first half will come to a close. Michigan ends the first half on an 11-4 run and takes a 3-point lead into the locker room at 33-30 for the third-ranked Michigan Wolverines over their arch rival, the Ohio State Buckeyes, at halftime. Folks, I'm going to go replenish my drink and take care of a couple things, so I'm going to briefly sign off here. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Recap the first half, get you ready for half number 2. Looks like it's going to be a good second half here between these two bitter rivals, Ohio State and Michigan, as Michigan leads it by 3 at the half over Ohio State, 33-30. Going to take a brief pause and back with you folks here in about 10 minutes. Hang on.